Did you wake up today nervous because you have a test? You have something to take care of and you're not really sure how it's going to go? Today we're going to be talking about the importance of how to prepare yourself before anything important arises. So sit back, enjoy this conversation on today's episode of the Bump Podcast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Bump Podcast. I'm your host Shamir, here with my co-host and beloved brother Nabil.
Hello everybody. Thank you for joining us yet another week here on the Bump Podcast. We're so excited to bring today's topic to your attention. It's going to be on preparation, the importance of being prepared for anything and everything in life. Indeed. What should our people do?
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the dingle, and follow us on all our social platforms. We definitely welcome every single person on this planet.
Wow, that's profound.
Anyways, I want to start off by reading this so we could just be super solid on this topic today, okay? I was in the vines of social media this week, and I found a good topic. We actually had talked about something similar in previous weeks of this topic we wanted to talk about, and then this kind of just like made it more of a stronger reason to talk about it today.
Most definitely.
And just a little heads up, soon we're going to be going to a few conventions to see if we can get some people to hop on the show very soon. Because we need to bring people. Our faces are kind of getting boring, and I understand that.
What's that? Oh, what? You guys are bored. Yeah, they're bored.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
So we got to tighten up on our end, and I know that, and Nabil knows it. So, anyways, we're gonna be doing that for you guys soon.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it says, and R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. We love you, man. Yeah. Sorry that just a little quick anecdote. I was in prison when I found out he died. I was talking to my dog Hector on the phone, and literally right, because when you're in prison, the last minute of the phone call, it'll let you know. It'll give you a notification of when your last minute is up. And I was literally saying goodbye to my friend, and I hear his sister in the background saying, "Hey, Kobe Bryant just died."
That's wild.
And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, a helicopter crash just." And I literally hang up the phone call once I'm done with my friend, and I literally yell in the dorm. I'm like, "Yo, everybody, Kobe Bryant died." Then I what? And I'm like, "Yo, Kobe Bryant died. Like, let's turn on the news." Literally, the news turned. It was already on ABC, so like, it literally like
so it was already
breaking
talking
news.
About it.
Kobe Bryant stand there like, "Bro, how'd you find out?" I'm like, "I was on the phone with my friend." And man, that's crazy. I felt
that was
sad.
that was bad news.
Anyways, this is something Kobe said when he was alive and well and swell. It said when Kobe Bryant said his insane level of confidence came from knowing he had done all he could to prepare, it taught me that anytime I'm nervous, it means I didn't prepare enough. It's going to be our topic today, as Nabil said earlier in the intro.
Yeah.
I think we need to delve into that because it's good to have a great confidence in anything we do. And always understand that we've talked about this in other podcasts, that what we portray to be, that rubs off on other people. People see it, and sometimes they follow it, or they hate it or envy it. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a positive, negative effect, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And the other day I was talking to a friend, and he had told me that he follows the podcast like faithfully, and he actually does. He like goes on YouTube and watches the videos and stuff. And Carlos, we thank you for watching.
Thank you
for tuning in. And he was saying that he's like, man, something I love about you is that ever since you got out of prison, you changed your life around, but like every step you take is very solid and firm, and you have a lot of confidence. And I spoke to another friend too, and my Italian friend, Capo Bianco. Cap, we love you too. And he's saying, man, I love how your brother and you just talk, man. You guys have great chemistry. You guys just, the way you guys portray the podcast in general is just so awesome. And I can't wait till you guys go viral so people can actually see two genuine brothers doing their thing. Well, so nice it was definitely refreshing, and it's awesome to see. And that's what we do here on Bump Podcast. We not only create relationships, but we create that confidence and character building, motivation for you guys. so we can continue our daily path, because every day is a new opportunity. There's new struggles, new trials and tribulations. There's all types of things. So we need to be prepared for that. So Nabil, let's get in there. Let's talk to these people.
Yeah. So being prepared, the importance of it, right? The meaning behind it. Make something ready for use or consideration. Kind of another version would be essentially make someone ready or able to do or deal with something. And in other words, too, to make or get something or someone ready for something that will happen in the future. I don't like necessarily those meanings because it says like something a bunch of times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Says.
But essentially, it's being ready for whatever task you're, either a task that you're going to accomplish throughout the day, or just literally have something ready that you might utilize later on. I've been in when we started talking about this topic. I was like, wow, yeah, I really like what Kobe says there, because, for example, me trying to pursue things like in the acting industry and stuff like that, it is so important. And here's a good example, actually. It is so important, and it's like imperative for me to be able to be ready just for auditions.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with that. Just with auditions. Auditions, typically, if you go in person, they're going to give you what they call sides. Do you know what sides are?
No.
You don't know what sides are?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Do you know what sides are? No. Okay. Well, I'll tell you. So sides are essentially a little, portion of the script that obviously those are the lines you're going to read, and you're going to feed off of it with the person that's behind the camera. Usually. That's why in the past with some of the auditions, I had you read the lines of the other character.
Yeah, I love doing that. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but I got to try and stay in whatever character mode I'm supposed to be in. Because this one's clowning around all the time.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's good energy. It's really good energy to feed off of. And so they give us the sides, and we have about 10 to 15 minutes to try and memorize those lines. Now, if it's for a commercial, you have to be able to memorize it word for word. If it's for film and TV, you have a little more wiggle room to improvise. For commercials too, sometimes they'll direct you, and they'll, whoever the client is, or let's say you're shooting the commercial audition with like an acting coach, they'll be like, hey, maybe try this, try that, and then that's when you have a little bit more freedom to be able to say whatever lines you're gonna say. But for the most part, for commercials, you have to stick it word for word, because that's what the writer wants. They want you to bring that to life. And you could offend them too if you don't
of course,
say it. Well, me being on several professional sets, what always bothered me was the fact that you have your professionals, and they don't know their freaking lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, why are you here?
Yeah.
That bothers the heck out of me, because it's like I'm trying to be my best to be in a similar position to them, and I'm doing my part of the work. I'm going all in. I just get nervous even stepping on a set of some sort and not knowing my lines.
Yeah.
So typically, if I don't know it or I don't remember it because I got, cold feet, a little nervous and whatnot, I'm secluding myself to be able to know my lines, but also not just know the lines, but know why you're delivering the lines, where the character's mindset is at. All those things, it's super, super important to do it. If you want to flip it on something else, let's say those of you guys who are in high school, college, you know how annoying it is to go into a test and you're feeling nervous because it's like, crap, I don't know this material, and nowadays I feel like a lot of students have it easier than back then. Back then, you really, it was either really knowing how to cheat, knowing your stuff, or you were just screwed.
You're screwed, yeah.
Nowadays you have the access of technology in various ways.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes, teachers or professors will be like, no, you can't cheat. You can't do this or whatever. Technology is pretty easy to get around in one way, shape, or form.
Plagiarizing is a very easy thing nowadays.
Yes.
For a lot of students and stuff.
Correct. And so the bottom line of all of this is it's so imperative for all of you guys to be able to prepare for whatever it is that you need to, whether it's adult skills, whether it's whatever particular career you're chasing after, how you deal with people, interact with people, all those things. If you're working in marketing, how are you going to sell the product to the clients? Mm-hmm. You got to be super prepared. You got to know everything about the product inside and out. You got to know how to deliver whatever it is
I
you're going
think
to
the
say to
most
them.
important thing, at least with marketing, that I've learned is
You did sales for a little bit.
yeah, but I mean, and now with the company and all that stuff, you know, it's definitely going to be a daily thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The most
But you've
important
prepared for that too. They don't know it, but I mean,
Right.
you've been preparing, and when you brought it to my attention, I'm just like, oh yeah, he's
we're working. But the most important thing about sales or marketing is, would you purchase your own product?
oh yeah.
And then honestly,
If
the
you're not
reason
convinced,
why I
nobody
say
else
that-
is gonna be.
yeah, like how are you going to convince people? You could be a great speaker and a persuader, but if you do not, if you're not willing to purchase your product,
And nobody else
like
will
people
either.
will perceive that energy. Like you need to go in there like, man, I have Thanos's gauntlet, man. I will make sure that these 5 stones that are on your hand will make you snap your finger and disappear half of the human population. You get what I'm saying? Or like whatever in general it is, like, or I'll give you the power to do this. Like where you could sell this product and be like, I am 100% guaranteed or your money back that this product will work, you know, that you feel like,
And just hearing that, oh, your money back, that just, oh, okay.
well, that's
If it really sucks, then I'm
'cause
gonna get my money back.
I'm gonna get my money back, and that's fine because I'm confident that I know my product works, because I believe in it, as opposed to a product that you're just like, I'm gonna sell it just to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that could only go so far, you know. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing about marketing. So I mean, but that's, you know, I've prepared so much for sales. I mean, I have pamphlets, books. I've done so many YouTube videos. I've been on YouTube University. I probably
so good,
graduated
YouTube
at that point
University.
from YouTube University on that end.
And even with this podcast too.
Man, listen, and recently my lady's been telling me like, hey, it's 3-4 in the morning and you're still not asleep, you're reading, like just give it a break. I'm like Bill Gates right now in my life, dude. Like I am gonna continue to read. I will have certain sleepless nights at times, and when I could sleep, I'll get that energy when I
advantage
can.
and do it, yeah.
I'll do it. But I just cannot waste no more time. You know, the times we are living is very, very important to take advantage of every moment. Prepare yourself for what you need to do, and move forward, because we're in such a fast-paced environment nowadays.
Yeah.
That we cannot stay still, man. The moment you stay still, you got a stampede of people that want it more than you do.
Yeah.
And they're going to take over, you know?
Yeah.
So we need to prepare. We need to prepare, and we need to have that confidence in knowing I know what I know, and nobody could take that away. I saw a quote on Bruce Lee recently where it says,
I think I know which one. I think I saw it last
it's
night.
about the sun.
It's like him training up Brandon Lee. Like you can, instead of, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's basically like him. The best thing you can pass on is knowledge,
Yeah.
experience,
Because-
not just the materialistic stuff.
So the saying says, don't give your son everything you didn't have. Teach him everything that he needs to know that you never learned.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
that man, he was the GOAT. I don't care what anybody
I think
says.
that's why they did him wrong, and I think didn't they kill his son too?
Brandon Lee died on set of making the movie The Crow.
Any
you guys can look that up.
person that has died on a live set of a movie, that's conspiracy. I do not care what anybody says. You're not gonna tell me that fake bullet turned into a real live bullet out of nowhere and killed you. Like, I'm not taking that for, no. Oh, it was an act. No. An accident is Jeff Hardy jumping from the top of the Coliseum at the Amway Center or the Kia Center or the Crypto Center, jumping off a front flip and knocked his neck, or like, you know what I'm saying? And then that's believable because it's like,
or more like one of the Hart brothers.
Yeah, but that to me was conspiracy. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, hell yeah. I think they killed him, bro, because they showed afterwards, because they sued the company that had the strap that he put on.
Yeah. I remember
because
that.
It was ripped, but they said that one of the co-workers that was tying him on had said that I guess they didn't tie him on and he had fell. So then why is this ripped here? Correct. And you're blaming it on the company that had the harness, strap and all that stuff. But then there's someone saying that, he wasn't tied, he fell.
Oh wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Something
When there's
right
mixed
there.
stories, no. When there's mixed stories, there's more than one story. Because, you know, there
Bret
could
Hart's
be,
salty about all of that to this
no,
day.
for sure. Listen, Bret. I feel the reason why Bret Hart, and I'm sorry we're going on a rabbit hole real quick with wrestling and everything else, because there's just so many things. You know, we have to prepare too for people that are trying to
Unexpected
harm
things.
us, that are trying to do things to us. You know, that's just human nature, sadly.
Yeah.
But I think Bret Hart, the reason why he stayed with WWE, or he kind of cut ties for a little bit and then came back, is just because wrestling was his bread and butter. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
I don't think that Bret really. Because you got to understand, you know, WWE, Mr. McMahon took over the wrestling game for a very long time, especially the early '90s to what it is today. And yeah, they technically got rid of the company at this point, but you know, WWE is still the face of wrestling. You know,
Always,
globally. Yeah. So I think that's what happened, but I think they killed Owen. I don't know what was going on backstage. You know, it's not something like nowadays, like I knew a lot about the Batista and Booker T feud, that they actually hated each other backstage and they fought and stuff like that. So you know that like
nowadays you hear more of
going
this
on.
stuff.
So like if you knew like Batista or Booker T died or something like that backstage or something, then you kind of know that maybe it was because of
their
that
feud
going on. And it, you know, everything. WWE is a mafia. You know what I'm saying? Behind stage, prostitution, rape, drug trade, everything is in that backstage. You know, it's just thankfully a lot of people have been able to overcome their career and
in some way, shape, or form.
You know,
Absolutely.
like, you know, The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, Batista, Ric Flair, you know, all these guys were able to, you know, overcome those things of the wrestling industry and become way more successful. You know, did you see Hulk Hogan and did you watch the Mr. McMahon documentary? Well, anyways, long story short, Mr. McMahon didn't want the wrestlers to like go to acting. Yeah, and that's where he did Rocky, and ended up blowing up. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, he did a few movies, but that were kind of garbage. But anyways, we'll talk more about wrestling some other time.
We digress.
Go ahead, sir.
And other things that allow you, when you prepare yourself, you know, you'll end up feeling relaxed. You'll thrive and be confident. These are different elements that you want to be able to feel, right? When you're prepared, you're definitely like, okay, I got this. And let's say if something, you know, was switched last minute or whatever, okay, well, you can kind of adjust based off of what you kind of set yourself up for and prepare for. Indeed. Also here, preparation can save you a lot of time and headache, and you will feel confident that you can rise above all the possible struggles and trials that you will, you know, eventually go through. So those are little things to keep in mind. Also, little tips here. I found a quote that says, straightforward, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. And that's true, and I've gone through it myself. When I think of those moments like that, I really thought of literally the days that I was in school, especially high school. Like there were times where I just did not prepare and I was nervous as heck. Yeah. And when I would go into the test, I'm like, so what do I do? Sometimes I cheated. I'll be honest. I freaking cheated. Right. But other times, you know, it was just like, no, I can't keep going in like this.
That's a life lesson, you know, and it's something to teach your child one day, the day you have one, to be able to be like, you have two options in life: to prepare or to fail. You get what I'm saying? And it's as simple as that, because I feel like society. I mean,
that's nowadays, a quote right there that you should tell anyone, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Failure to prepare. I mean, what is it?
It's preparing to fail.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
it's sad that like sometimes, like for example, we had a great upraising. Our parents taught us well, showed us manners and all these things, and they never really lacked on that aspect, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And they always said to be responsible and to do homework and
they led by example too.
Yeah, you know, so it never was that, but like sometimes us as especially our generation where video games was a thing and all these stuff and hanging out with kids outside. Yeah. So like there was certain things that were time consuming, and you know, our parents, for not being, you know, for them being wanting to be good parents, they also understand that recreation is a thing for childhood and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they let you do your thing, but then it's like there really was never like a time frame after a certain point, especially like in high school time, where they were like, hey, you got to study, don't forget. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really received that I remember.
Yeah, heck yeah, they did.
You think so?
Mom was always making sure we were getting our homework done. Sometimes I had to miss Dragon Ball Z just to do the freaking homework.
Really?
Yeah.
I think then they were a little bit more softer on me then, because I don't recall, especially like when we moved over here, we
like when we came back for
yeah, like if anything, like you helped me a couple
though.
times on like certain subjects and stuff like that, but after that, like I really never recall any of that. And I think that obviously the first child will usually be more of you see a lot more of the strict,
we suffer more.
yeah, the strict parenthood, because obviously you're a first child. That's you're always going to be cared for and looked over more in certain aspects, and I understand that. So what I'm trying to say is that when we're growing up, sometimes we don't really know time management per se. And that's something that as adults we start to learn, especially when we get busy with work, school, being parents, or just our career in general.
Yeah.
Where we have to time everything, like Nabil's got to go to work today, but we got a podcast, we got to do an oil change, we got to do a bunch of other things. So obviously we had to wake up super early in order to get these things done. That's just
doing the grind.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. So the most important thing is just being organized.
Yeah.
And creating an understanding of what the week's going to be. For example, when we're planning to go to conventions and stuff ahead of time, we're already planning 1, 2, 3 months ahead of time. So we know what we got to budget for, what we're looking into, if we got to get a hotel, a car, whatever. And we work things out, and that's just how life works, and how it works comfortably is planning ahead of time. Anything we do, in order for things to work as smoothly as possible when they actually do occur.
Yeah.
There's a saying in Spanish, but I'll say it in English, where it says, in an announced war, nobody dies. And that, that's pretty self-explanatory in my thought, because if we're prepared for things in life, we don't find Goliath at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to fight a huge battle, as opposed to being prepared and then going in and knowing that
prepared, having a strategy, having a plan to be able to execute and be successful at it.
And the more time we waste in not preparing is that time you could have used to prepare. Because in college, that's a huge thing for me, where it's like, if you have 4 classes, you got work, podcast, kid, family, the household things you need to do. Bro, I haven't washed my car, I would say, over a month by now.
Yeah, for me it's been 2 months.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, you're so busy, and then you look at your car and I'm like, man, this thing looks like hell. And I love driving a nice, clean car, and it smells great.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels good. You feel
you feel
flying
good
down
too,
the road like you're in a Cadillac or Mercedes Benz,
Yeah, I agree.
Sadly, there's certain things that we you know what I'm saying, that we
take priority over things like that.
Right. And then the thing is that, it's
like when you shower and you put on some nice clothes, you're feeling like $1 million, even though you're really not, I guess. But
0 miles.
You feel good, and you're just like, all right, I'm ready for whatever it is I'm gonna go do.
Yeah. And when we start to recognize these things, we know that we have to take advantage of every moment that we have and use it to our favor. And build in a positive manner everything we do in our life.
I feel like if we all put today's topic into practice, it just shows where you're at mentally and emotionally and in your life as a person. You know, I feel like that shows that you're mature, that you're wanting to accomplish these things in order to make progress in your life, to be able to live a happy, healthier life. You know, these things are all very important in terms of our growth. The older we get, the more we learn, the more we are able to accomplish based off of the knowledge and information we've been able to receive throughout our entire lives, you know. But we're also living in a world where so many people are just content with pretty much their circumstance, not having to deal with certain things that gets them out of their comfort zone, all of that stuff. And so we need to be able to recognize that and actually do something about it sooner rather than later. Because if it's later, you're like, man, I wish I would have taken advantage when I was younger. Now that I'm older, it's like, crap, I wasted so much time. This is terrible. And because of that, sometimes you don't even want to do anything about it because you felt like you've just killed 10, 20 years of your life pretty much being in a comfortable situation, in a comfortable environment. And that's not good. And I say this because I've thought about certain things like that in my past. I know Shamir has too. People around us have also thought in similar ways. And if we're able to kind of, you know, let younger people than us know, or even older people than us know too, that it's never really too late, but do something about it now while you're aware of it, then, you know, you have already one foot in the right direction. It's also like in different scriptures of the Bible, the Lord tells us in different ways how we need to be prepared. So like 1 Peter 3:15 says, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. So in other words, you know, why we believe in God, why we believe in everything that says in the Bible. And sometimes we don't believe necessarily every single thing until we study it, break it down, see why it's being said, which that takes time. And that's actually a verse that I'm still trying to work on, because sometimes I don't necessarily know how to explain to someone my belief system off ripper, depending how their personality is and stuff like that. Because sometimes you could tell them and then they're just dismissive. So it's like, so then why are you asking me? Excuse me. You know, are you asking me to just judge me off rip? Or are you asking me because, you know, there's something about me that piques your interest, or that you simply like, or that you vibe off with and whatnot? And so that's something I'm still maneuvering through. But you know, that's always a Bible verse that just I keep it in the forefront of my mind. But I had to make sure that I had it here for today to bring awareness, because we have to be ready to explain you know, what we believe and why we believe in it. It's super important. It leads into really good conversations with other people, and sometimes it, you know, a light bulb might go off on that other person if you explain to them in a mature, loving, and respectful manner. So yeah, I
wanted to bring this
to their attention.
A guy from, I think it's the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
his name was Marcus Aurelius.
Oh yes.
He has a lot of good sayings. I don't know if he was a good guy. I haven't read on him. I've read of the 10 Caesars and stuff like that back in the day, which were, a lot of them were terrible people.
Yeah. Roman Empire was pretty bad.
Yeah. But anyways, and I want to bring these two quotes real quick to tie it into to the finale today. And you still got a few more things to say?
No, I'm pretty much wrapping it up.
Okay, we'll close it out then. Anyways, it says, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. And then the second one says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength. Okay, the reason why I brought these two, I tied them in together, is because we in the midst of preparation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring this solid one. Okay, I'm preparing for the event this week. I'm sorry, not this week. The convention we're going to in March. To talk to certain of the people. Obviously, we don't know a lot of these famous
People that
actors
we
and
meet.
stuff like that. We don't know their attitudes. We don't know their personalities. So we go preparing, hopefully that things go well, because we've had great experiences with, celebrities, and we've had some pretty bad ones too. I mean, I think that's everybody, but
Yeah. Way more good than bad.
no, for sure. Yeah, it outweighs.
be honest.
We're like 80-20 right now. Maybe even 90-10. I would care
I'd
to
say
say
90-10.
90-10 is fine. Yeah, there you go. So, and I'm preparing right now because I want to talk to this book author named Claudia Gray. I read a few
Shout
of her
out to
books.
Claudia.
Yeah, we love you. And she wrote a lot of the Star Wars books, The High Republic and Master and Apprentice, Bloodline. I mean, to mention a few, and a lot of other novels outside of
Was it
Star
the
Wars.
Darth Maul book? That one, the Bloodline one.
No, that's the Bloodline. Is the Leia book. She
Oh
wrote
yeah.
She wrote 2 Leia books, the Bloodline, and then another one which is, I think, her right after episode 4 in Rogue One.
So Rogue One and Episode 4, because
So
Rogue
that-
One leads into Episode 4.
Right, so Rogue One and then Episode 4. So in that lapse of time, I think that Leia done a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's about that. I could be wrong.
He's more of a Star Wars book fan than I am. I'm not.
Well, but Nabil put me on because when I was in prison, I was like, that's the only way I could really get into
Consume
Star
any
Wars
kind of content at the time.
until like tablets started coming in, where it's like, where we were able to start having Star Wars movies in there. They started actually off with Rogue One was the first movie, and then what was it, 7, 8, and 9? Episode 7, 8, and 9.
You would know I wasn't in there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's if they're actual movies, because I know
Yeah,
it was
7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9, and then everything else. The original trilogy came in after I got out of prison. But long story short, so back to Claudia Gray. I'm preparing to talk to her about a few things. Is she going to be approachable? I don't know. Are the other guys, like the people from Sons of Anarchy, are going to be there? This is actually Collective Con in Jacksonville, March 14th through the 16th. So if you guys see this before then and you guys are there, say hello to us. Let us know. Anyways, a lot of these guys are going to be there. The Clone Wars people. The Clone Wars people we've met, they're all cool. I love them all.
And we had James Arnold Taylor on last year.
Yes, we did. We love you, James.
Yes, we do.
Can't wait to see you and talk to you for a little while. Hopefully, you could eat lunch or something with him. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, I'm preparing for all these things, but the reason why I brought these quotes is that we can only control what we can do, what we can prepare for. What happens afterwards when we go into the battles or into the confrontations or the engagements with people, we sometimes can't control what the other person does. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes that's sad, because then that's where uncertainty, that's where the all those doubts in your mind come in before it happens, where you're just like, man, hopefully this goes well. Especially with what happened last year in the convention, where we had a kind of shitty convention.
Yeah, that was a lame experience.
It was definitely a bust. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes just bad experiences are prone to happen regardless.
Yeah.
So part of your preparation the process, you should always put in your mind to think, well, be prepared for good and bad. You can't just do one.
And how to handle the bad when it's obviously out of your control.
And that's what I want to bring today to you guys, that we have to be prepared for both.
Yeah.
And, like the saying says, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And that's just how life is, ladies and gentlemen. And we got to love it, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be a positive out of it, whether if it's negative or positive. Why? Because it's a learning experience, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what I love about life. It's what I love about how God had planned it out. That's why I say that he has a perfect plan in all of our lives, because
Facts.
he put the negativities in there, and we create a lot of negativities too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing. People think it's always God. Like, why does he allow this to happen or that to happen? And honestly, us as humans, he gave us free will to choose what to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And sadly, sometimes we make the wrong decisions, but the most important thing is just preparing and understanding the process. And once we understand the process, it's a lot smoother regardless of what happens. So I'm gonna leave you guys on that note. Any final
No, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. We just hope that it was informative for you guys, and that take all of this in as much as you can, and apply it to your lives, and apply it to your discipline.
For sure.
So we pretty much thank you guys for joining us today. What are they gonna do?
You gotta like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the ringle dingle dingle. We love you guys, and it'll be until next week. I'll see y'all later.
Have a great week, everybody.